and every day you get the same harassment system. So I just wanted to share with you all that there are these groups out there that are targeting people, okay? They're targeting them so flipping hardcore, all right? And as much as you try to change your life and move out of the energy, and I had a whole day planned. I had an entire day planned, but this group decides that that's not the day that I'm going to have, okay? That's not the day that I'm gonna have. I'm not gonna have this serene, calm day. Instead, they start using their mind reading alien technologies on me and start going through scenarios of people that I freaking know and think that I have something to do with, okay? That's what they're doing to me. It's really interesting because they put me into a different tier or a different category of psychoticness, I want to say about a week ago, which I had put on my channel, and I titled it that they had me in a torture prison system, okay? And they were using these mind technologies, which are super advanced, and they can actually get into your memories or your mind portals through your brain, through some type of a biosystem of sorts. And I honestly, like, this torture prison is like them just, it feels like, I'm going to explain to you what it feels like. It feels like you have a police guard, okay? It feels like you have a guard or an officer that grills you all day long in your mind, and you can't escape it because it's your freaking mind, and you can hear them through the system, okay? And they basically grill you. They grill you, and they start running scenarios with you. And no matter what you think, because you're thinking, okay, you're not actually talking to them, you're thinking because they're in your brain with the new technologies. Whatever you are thinking, okay, and you think the wrong thing, then they replay the scenario again, so you have to rethink a different outcome. Or they get information out of you that they can use then against you. That's what they're doing. It's the most psychotic, like, I don't know what this is, this torture prison. I know they're running it through a bot system, but it's like not allowing me to move on with my life in any way. Like, if I try to do something, they come in and start bringing up something from my mind, a memory, and then start replaying a scenario with me, basically. So I just kind of wanted to share this with you all because it was interesting because I was like, who is this? This has to be some kind of psycho nut, like, that's doing this, that like replays these scenarios, and the way they're thinking about it is very tactical, and this weird approach that's going on that I don't really understand. And it's like they're trying to get information out of me totally illegally. I don't know what the freak they're doing. But then something really odd happened, okay? And yesterday I was on my channel. I was just looking for YouTube videos to watch. And I had recently subscribed to the new, not new, but the channel Blown for Good. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Blown for Good, but it is all about these former members of Scientology. And they were very high up. They were like officer level. They were very high up, high ranking in that cult, because it's a cult. And they basically started like unveiling these spy files. I don't know if you guys watched that channel at all, but it's really interesting. I watch it all the time. And the spy file that they were unveiling, okay, was from, I want to say it was 2003, and it was around Oprah, okay? It was around Oprah's show, and it was about an interview with Brooke Shields. I find this interesting because Brooke Shields was just on Drew Barrymore, okay? And Brooke Shields talked very candidly about her mother in this interview, that she didn't have a good relationship with her, but her mother was like on her, like constantly, and she was her manager and everything. Like, she was always around her trying to protect her. And the minute I heard that, I felt trafficking. Like, that's what I was thinking initially. I was like, trafficking, like she's protecting her daughter from being trafficked. That's what I was thinking from the description of it. But she didn't have like a very close relationship with her mom. And then Drew, I feel like they had a lot of similarities with the mom being the managers and like the momagers and things like that. And it's interesting because this is the spy file that's getting unveiled now on this channel, Blown for Good. And so he starts to read the spy file, okay, about Brooke Shields. And from the spy file, I'll just give you like a brief summary of it. There was some kind of an F up because I guess Brooke had mentioned that she had used some type of medicine, okay, some type of medicine for, I believe it was postpartum, okay, like she had postpartum and it was something involved with Tom Cruise, and he said something about this, and then it got stirred up in the media. So anyways, there was a spy file on this of everything and how everything was supposed to go down, because there was going to be an interview with Oprah, and she had a promise that she wouldn't make Tom look stupid, okay? This is interesting stuff, guys, because this is really like the truth of what was going on behind the veil. Like, I was like, okay, all right. When you hear the spy file and how detailed it is, it was like, okay. So John had to go meet with Oprah. Okay, John Travolta had to go meet with Oprah. And he's the one that had to make sure that nothing came back to Tom, okay? Nothing went back to him in any way. And she had a promise. She had a promise that everything would go smooth, okay? And then it goes into this detail. But when he starts going through the details of the spy files of exactly the scenarios, it sounds like a psychopath. Like, it sounds like a psychopath is writing it. Like, the way they go through the scenarios reminds me of the same psychopathic torture system that I'm in, where it's so detailed. And like, by the time he gets like the third paragraph, you're just like, oh my God, like they're fucking crazy. Like they're fucking batshit crazy with this. I was like, this has got to be connected to my head thing. This has to be connected, because there's the amount of detail that goes into and the analyzation and then they go back to it. It's like, it's micromanaging times like 10. Like, that's the energy of it. It is like a micromanagement system that is so insane. And I was like, I couldn't even watch the episode because I honestly was just like, I was like, this is how I felt. Poor Oprah. Like, that's what I was feeling. She would never win. You can't appease Psycho. You can't appease Psycho at all. You cannot appease it. And when you see how they are and how insane they are, also they have the names of every single person involved and their agents as well. So it's kind of interesting because you can actually like see all of their agents in Hollywood, their CIA, and like just the whole rigmarole that would go on behind the scenes that no one ever knew about with this interview, and how the show had to go down. Like, had to go down. And it was like, if it didn't go down like that, it was like the wrath would be terrible. Well, they said that she would lose 3 friends. Which is like, wait, like what? But it's kind of interesting because it is like a snapshot into the psycho-ness of this organization. It really is. Like, these spy files are like a glimpse of it. And I really hope that more of this, you know, continues to come to life. To light? To life. Oh, God. Because I think there's going to be more about that, too. But, I mean, this is like a really interesting thing. So, I would say right now, I don't know if I am connected to Scientology, but the energy has come up so much for me with this attack. It has come up so much, and there was a celebrity that was around me at the exact time that the energy of this group and cult came up. So I definitely think it is connected. But, you know, it's like when you look at Scientology, I mean, I was cracking jokes yesterday with I don't know who the F is in my freaking ears, but I said it's like the CIA and the cult. A cult had a baby, and that was Scientology, because that's literally how they act. I mean, that's literally what they are. And they have spy groups that go out and framing groups that go out. And it feels like and I talked about this yesterday in my video. It's like you don't get out. Like, you never get out. Like, you can never freaking leave. It's like if you try to leave, it feels like you either go to prison or you disappear. Like, that's how you leave. And that's the energy. That is the energy that I have been picking up. And that's the energy that has been infiltrating, I feel like, our country. I feel like it's the same type of energy that's been going on. This control, micromanaging, manipulation. They know everything about you. I bet Scientology has like a spy file on me, dude. I bet they have a fucking spy file, and I'm not even a member. I'm not even a member of that group. I don't even know them. But like, I bet they have spy files probably on everybody. And that's what's insane about all of these people. But it feels so close to home with how like, if I'm thinking about this energy around Oprah, okay, and I'm thinking about her channel, and I remember coming on here and being like, I felt like Oprah was on this path, okay, where she was a trailblazer. And I've talked about this on my channel. She was trailblazing, dude. She was trailblazing with Super Soul Sunday, and the OWN network was designed to be a spiritual network. It was going to be like, it was supposed to be the original Gaia, okay? You know, Gaia, that was supposed to be OWN. And then I feel like she got freaking blocked in some way, because all of a sudden then it was like, it just, all of the light worker stuff like started to like simmer down, and then it went into, it became more like BET or something like that. And, you know, it just seemed like the whole direction of the channel shifted. I know she mentioned losing a lot of money, I think, on the network and things like that. And like, I remember living in West Hollywood when she moved in there, and that's literally when the shift had happened. Like, she lived like a block, she was like a block from me. Like, that's where OWN was. It was like a block from me, which is weird. But anyway, and I'm like, you know, this weird shift that happened with her, and now it feels like everything with her has even changed, like everything with her. And now we're looking at a completely opposite persona that's coming through because of the Maui fire. So I think it's really interesting, because when I'm looking at what's happening behind the scenes on one of her shows, dealing with a celebrity, I personally was like, I don't think she had a say at all, but like, I would never have a celebrity from Scientology on my show ever. I would never allow it. I would never allow it. I would never allow it. The red tape involved is insane. And I would be like, fuck no, I'm out. Go after, you don't get on my channel. You don't get on my show. You leave. You fucking, there's the door, exit left. That's what I would do. I don't know that she had that say. I don't know if she had that say. But it's almost like, you know, how connected are these networks? Because you're realizing how many celebrities are tied into them now. I didn't realize how many celebrities were tied into this insane, psychotic, micromanaging network. And then how they're going into all the talk shows and everything else. And then how it spreads like wildfire, you know, through Hollywood. And that whole kind of like shadow, that's its own kind of like shadow government. You know what I mean? Like, it's its own, like Hollywood has its own shadow government. It's called Scientology. That's the shadow government right there. And so you're looking at that now, that's birthing out. How many shows is that birthing out? That freaking shadow government. That's birthing out all these networks, right? All these shows. And it's like, it's like, okay, all the shadow is going through now, and then it's penetrating out, and then where does that go to? Does that start going into like reality TV and things like that? And I can't help but think about, you know, Trump and then The Apprentice and all the stuff, and I'm like thinking about the networks and everything that's involved, and I'm like, what was going on? You know, what was really going on? So anyways, I feel that more of this is going to start to unravel, and I would definitely recommend checking out that channel if you haven't, Blown for Good. But it just feels like it's gaining so much momentum and so much traction right now, and there's so much stuff that is coming to light about this cult, and it's really kind of scary, because I think they were a lot more powerful than I think any of us even realize. And in the sense, if you watched Leah Remini's docuseries, you know, you get a full-on take of really how scary and frightening it is to leave that cult. And I don't even think she fucking even probably glazed or even hit even as deep as that even goes. Like, I think it's way worse. I think it's way worse. I think she glossed over it, and even what she presented was insane. You know what I mean? Like, in terms of how bad it was, how dangerous it was, and like, I think it's even another layer. I think it's like 3 layers under her docuseries. Like, that's what I think. I think it's so dark. I think it's so dark. And I think it's tied in to the CIA as well. Like, I'm thinking there's a whole other branch of this that's now tied in to the CIA. Like, because I'm thinking, and then now the wife, yeah, the wife's been coming up. She's on this. She's part of all of those spy files. She's in it. Like, she's on, like, her face is on there. She's right in there. No wonder she's gone. You know what I mean? And all the reports about, yeah, that she never visited the police department, all that stuff is coming to light. Now all the police that just suicided themselves. And I mean, it just, and I'm telling you guys, I feel this energy. I feel this energy. You know, I feel their energy around. I feel it. I feel it. And they work with dark. They work with the dark. And this is a satanic cult. That's what they are. Scientology is a satanic cult, okay? I feel like that's what they are. And and there is a fear of even talking about it. If you say their name, there's a spy bot that comes in and freaking starts just putting shit on your head, dude. Because they work with spiritual technology. They're alien technology. And the more I'm thinking about it, you know, today, because I can't escape them. I can't move on. I'm trying to do something peaceful and I can't move on. Just like I tried to do the Love Project, they destroyed the Love Project. You know, they just brought in a crew to destroy the entire garden that was completely freaking closed off. That had nothing to do with them. Nothing to freaking do with them. I'm sure it had nothing to do with them, especially because they got specific instructions to stay off the freaking Love Garden. And I didn't have anything on my channel talking about the Love Garden and the project in LA, and you couldn't find it anywhere, even though I had filed it, you know, and then they were even blocking the paperwork from me getting it through. And it's just like the control aspects of everything. They destroy everything. They destroy everything. And they're in everything. And they're around everything. They're in doctors. They're in lawyers. They're everywhere. They're freaking everywhere. And I'm thinking about it more and more, like today, because they're drilling me about this freaking celebrity. And I don't know what's going on with this celebrity. I'm scared to even look his fucking name up on my phone because I feel like they're trying to set me up to do something. Like, that's how insane they are. Like, that's how freaking insane they are. And it's like, I'm a victim. I'm a victim of many, many crimes. And they're hitting me right now in the arm right now with some kind of a weapon. They have some new fucking fancy weapon that zaps you. And, you know, it's like, I'm not allowed to talk about this. Like, why? Is he connected to Scientology? Like, is he freaking connected to them? I had a feeling he might be connected to them, but I'm not sure, you know? Like, I'm not positive. They have made billions from their victim cult members. Yeah, absolutely. Billions. And, you know, it's like, why can't I even talk about a celebrity that very suspectedly came into my dream at a very odd time, you know, with a lot of other celebrities. And then like a few months later, I'm like watching his whole life fall apart and I get a fucking brain chip in my freaking head. Like, you know, I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like it's a little weird. And I get a weird text message out of nowhere from West Hollywood, from a dentist I hadn't been to in like 7 years. Like, that's freaking weird. That's not normal. Like, that's not freaking normal. And it's like, I honestly, like, for me, like, outside perspective, like, none of it makes or made any flippin' sense to me. None of it. Like, none of it. But I noticed being followed to the cell phone place. I noticed a lot of weird shit going on. I noticed a celebrity, like a person that looked just like this guy, showing up on a motorcycle within 20 minutes of me arriving to get a new phone. Because I needed a new phone because they had my number. And then this guy he was like the doppelganger of the guy the celebrity that was in my dream for like freaking a year. I was like, how did they pull that one off? They have like backup lookalikes. Like, he came in, I was like, he looks just like the guy in my dream. Like, they found, like, the New Jersey version of him. Like, they found the New Jersey version of him. And he showed up. He's, like, right next to me. He sits down, and he has no reason to be in the cell phone place. Zero. Like, zero. Like, they're like, I'm, like, uploading my phone and trying to do it. I knew he was in there to spy on me. I knew he was trying to get my passcodes. And so, the person at the store was like, wanted to check out the view. He did. He comes in. He goes over to the guy and he goes, "Can I help you with anything?" And he's like, yeah. I'm thinking, like, can I, like, get my dad a phone or something?" And they were like, "No, you can't do that. You would need your father to come in." He's like, "I can't just, like, buy a phone for my dad." And they were like, "No." "You would need him to come in and sign the account." He's like, "So I was just gonna open an account for him or something." Like, "You can't do that." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And then he's like glancing over at my freaking passcodes, like I'm writing on freaking like Post-its, okay? I have like Post-it notes, okay, with my passcodes on it, and he's going like this, looking at my fucking passcodes. Like, that's what I'm going through at the freaking AT&T store, okay? So that's just a glimpse, and it feels very Scientology, you know what I mean? Like, it feels a lot like that energy. But I don't know, it seems a little strange to me. So anyways, I'm thinking, I don't know if I could say the actor because, you know, I mean, every time I put it up on my channel, I get attacked, you know, because they don't want that information out, you know what I mean? They don't want that information about him out. But he has a very strange, interesting story, though. It's a little freaking strange. So, which I talked about on here, but I shouldn't talk about it, right? We shouldn't talk about it. We're not allowed to talk about it. We're not allowed, or we get hushed because then somebody might find out the truth about something, you know, that they did that might be illegal, you know what I mean? They're telling me, "Why do you talk? Why do you talk?" I'm not talking, I'm thinking. I'm thinking right now, I'm sorry, I'm not talking. "Why are you talking about this?" I don't really care. I don't freaking care. Why do I freaking care? Well, hold on, don't come in, okay? I don't want their faces on here, you know what I mean? Because I think, you know, we know what these groups are associated with, okay? They're pretty fucking obvi. Anyway, so what it feels like to me is that this is part of the shadow government, okay? Like, and I think it's connected in. I feel like this is like this is a big part of the shadow government that a lot of people are dealing with on YouTube and things like that. Like, I think this is the group, and it's connected in to these elites and these secret societies and things like that. But the more I'm thinking about it, it feels like it's a hybrid CIA. It's its own CIA almost. Like, that's what it feels like to me. Like, it's its own separate group. And I was getting messages around that. I'm like, it almost feels like there was two, like, and I couldn't understand that. Now I'm understanding now. A cult and the CIA had a baby, and it was called Scientology. That is the freaking off cult. That's it. And that's why they had the weird alien stuff going on in New Mexico, and now all of a sudden they're filming in New Mexico. Isn't that odd? Isn't that freaking odd that there's like a huge industry that just boomed in New Mexico? And I think it's so weird because I was sitting on the plane with somebody who worked in the film industry in New Mexico. I thought that was so freaking weird. And she was in the military, and she said they made her go to a church, and I was like, and she said she didn't want to go to this church, and now there are things going on about this church, these churches, these military groups that are practicing Satanism, and I just saw that actually spreading around. I'm wondering if that's the church she was talking about, but they make them go every Sunday, and she said she didn't want to go on Sundays. She specifically told me that, and I thought that was weird. Yeah, so it's a little strange. So anyway, sidebar, whatever the cult is not letting me move on. And if I get the device off my head, typically there's a situation, and I have really dark people that are infiltrating me, like, around the clock, that are connected to really dark stuff, like really, really dark stuff. And this is a threat to America. This is an underbelly threat to America, because if I'm going through this, I know that there are other people going through this. I'm not the only one. I'm not their first one. I'm not their first victim. I am not the first victim. Many people have gone through this, and I think it's really obvious the people who have gone through this, okay? Oh my God. That just scared the shit out of me. Anyway, so definitely, you know, I hope this kind of opens their eyes, since I can't move on from this ever, and they're in my ear every day, grilling me about the same old shit every day, and like, you know, every day is a different day of them torturing me with weapons, you know, bioweapons, neuroweapons, every day. It's the same day. I mean, I'm to the point where I'm just like, all right, we'll meet again tomorrow. You'll try to kill me again tomorrow. Okay, good. We'll just do it again, all over again. And then we'll rerun the same psychopathic scenarios over and over again until we appease you, which we will never do, because you can't make psychos happy. You cannot make a psychopath happy, ever. You will never be able to make them happy. I just want to put that out there. You cannot make a psychopath happy, ever, okay? They will never be pleased, ever. So, I'm wishing you guys the best.